The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
Alrighty. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the best night of the week. It's the Habits of Health night. I know you guys got it locked in your schedule. Oh my gosh, the chat is already starting to blow up, and the room is filling up. Alrighty. I love the habit. People obviously have done this before. The chat's already starting to pop in here. Indiana, Cali, San Diego. Welcome. Oh my gosh, I can't even keep up anymore. All right, those that don't have the habit in place yet, drop it in the chat and feel free to bring that chat up because we are going to use it a lot tonight. I'll talk a little more about that in a second. But where are you tuning in from, city and state, but also where are you physically? Are you in the bathtub? Are you in the car? Hopefully you're not driving. Are you outside enjoying the beautiful weather? Kitchen? Let me see here. Drop that in the chat. Oh, we're all over the U.S. I keep seeing it bounce from each side of the country. Living room, bedroom, kitchen. I love it. That's actually going to play a role in what we talk about tonight. So I'll be hitting on that later because where you are in your day runs your day. We're going to talk about that a little bit here. So I love the chat blowing up here. Keep it open because we're going to use it a lot tonight. So first off, welcome to the community and to the family. We're going to get started here in just a few seconds. And for those that are on the newer side, or maybe we're just like, really, that community, I thought I was just on a call here. Or I just thought this was a Zoom or a presentation. This is actual community because who you choose to surround yourself with is what makes the difference in your overall out here. Hold on a second. I got someone needs to be muted here. Here's my dad. Dad, you got to mute yourself. You try to raise them right, and you just never quite know what they're going to do. I'm going to have my dad here speak here in a little bit. I'm really excited about it. All righty here. So the chat's blowing up. Love it. This is community. You are like the people you surround yourself with, and that is in person, and that's also virtually. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So like I said, bring up the chat. We're going to use it a lot tonight, but I want to introduce myself. Let's get started. My name is Brad Miller, and it is my honor to be with you this evening. I'm really excited about this topic. We're talking about element 7. Got some great topics leading up to this one, but this one is a big one, and this is the one that's changed my life. I've been part of this family for over 10 years now, and yes, it is a family. It's also, I have a large family. It's also part of this family, but this changed my life. And this right here, this evening, is a big part of the leptogenic world that we're going to be talking about tonight. So I don't know about you guys, but I learned about this program by watching my family completely change their health. And honestly, I was young. I was in high school. Long story short, I actually decided to start gaining weight and putting in some unhealthy habits as I watched them lose weight and start changing their lives. We used to have a large family, and now we have a large, healthy family. But I noticed the changes they were making in their lifestyle physically, so much more than physically, actually. And that's how I chose to get started on this, by watching someone desire to change their life. So actually, I want to drop that in the chat next. How did you find out about Optavia? Drop that in the chat. And who inspired you to get started? Cousin, your mom, best friend, coworker, friend, nail tech. Awesome. That's great. Oh, it's going too fast to keep up, but I love it. Wife, friend. It's good wife. Good for you for listening to your wife. I love it. This is so good. Feel free, after you type this in, feel free to send that person a little thank you, because sometimes we don't realize how much we're gaining as we're moving forward, and remembering what we move forward in and being grateful is a huge part of moving forward in our health. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love that because one person made a decision, you guys are all here. And this is actually going to lead into my next question here. So because of one person, you guys were able to break through in your health. Never forget how powerful that is. And just also another reminder for a healthy outline, like gratitude, showing people gratitude for like the little things that help us move forward in our lives. So huge. All right, next question. So we're gonna use the chat a lot tonight. I feel like we learn a lot. I don't know about you, but I learn from people that I surround myself with. That's why a lot of this evening is gonna be about what we learned from watching what's shared in the chat. I'm gonna reference this as much as I can when it slows down. But since you made that decision, since you were inspired to create health, and you can put your weight loss in there as well, but I want to know, what's the greatest thing you've gained in your health? One word or less, or you can use 2 words if you want. And what's one thing you truly had to give up in order to do that? Running, activity, energy, confidence, freedom. I love that one. All right, seeing some give ups here. Had to give up fear. The chat's moving too fast. I love it. That is a lot of breakthrough, my friends. And that's why we show up here on Wednesday nights. Oh, also, by the way, hi, if you're on the recordings, you're here as well. Excited to see it in the future. I'm excited that you're with us tonight or morning, wherever you're at. Okay. This is so huge because I thought this was just weight loss when I got started. Truth be told, because we can always learn and grow, I actually was going to celebrate my weight loss originally with a pizza. I never thought about actually changing my lifestyle. That's why this is called The Habits of Health. And that's the difference maker in this. Like, hopefully you guys have your book. And actually, I'm also going to encourage you guys, if you don't already, grab a notepad or grab the note section in your phone, because I'm going to bring some things tonight that are going to help you move forward in your health or bring some awareness that you can change that will make the biggest difference in your health long term. And one of them for me was actually journaling. When I got out of high school, I was like, I never read a book, honestly. I used Cliff Notes. Don't tell my teachers that. But I was able to skate through with good grades just doing Cliff Notes. I didn't actually read, and I didn't really write things down. That was one of the things I had to choose to do going forward that made a big difference. So grab this book, take notes, and hopefully you're making lots and lots of notes in this book right here. Game changing. And the reason why I didn't celebrate my weight loss with a pizza, and the reason why I started changing so much about my health, is because I read the original version of this book. This one's even more powerful here. So, and actually, I want to ask this real quick here. Be honest with me, you guys, because we're all on a trajectory of moving forward. Be honest with me. How many of you have not yet, drop me a 1 in the chat, if you have not yet opened up your Habits of Health book? Just be honest with me. It's okay. We're on a journey here. Okay. I love the honesty. Because you know what? It took me a while to open up mine too. But it's when I started journaling and I started writing it down. And I didn't even realize things I was thinking or things that were happening until I reflected on how I wrote them down. So powerful. So many people, I'm going to get to this in a second, but so many people just say, oh, I don't do that thing. Actually, I'm just going to save that one for a topic here in just a second. But this is so huge right here. So I also asked one more question. I told you guys I would ask a bunch of questions. There's already gold in this chat. I could just stop talking because there's so many great things in here. But drop me a newbie or new in the chat if this is one of your first calls. Maybe it's your first call, maybe it's your second. But drop me the word new or newbie, whichever one you prefer in the chat. All right, we've got a lot of first timers. Welcome, my friends. This is so exciting. All right, I want you to do one thing for me tonight. I want you to write down or go do it right now and put this call as a reminder on repeat every Wednesday. I'm so excited you're here. But I'm even more excited about you being here 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. We've been doing this call. It didn't used to be virtual, but I've been on this call regularly for 10 years, and it's a staple in our long-term health. And if you show me something, I'm really excited about you guys being here tonight, but I'm more excited about the person that's on here multiple times. And actually, out of all those people that shared all those wins in the chat, like what they gained, how much they lost, what they had to give up, drop me a 2 in the chat. If this call is a regular in your routine, whether you get the podcast or you watch the recording, I'm a big fan of this. You're going to be hearing from my dad later. Don't tell him I said this, but that man's inspired me, and I've got a lot of good advice from him. And he always told me that success leaves clues. And you should study people that are successful. And watching those people right there, success leaves clues, they have it as a staple in there. So I'm just going to say welcome, and we want you to stay with us. We want you to stay at this part. So I'm going to get into tonight, because I've just kind of been warming up the chat here. But one thing I do want to say is we can create new ways of thinking. You can just blink at me. We don't have to ask the chat this one. But I had to change this mindset when I got started, because we're going to talk about creating a leptogenic world. And I'm going to tell you what that is here in a second. But one thing I had to change was how I thought about things. Has anyone ever just said, oh, I don't do that? Oh, that's just not me. I'm not a reader. Oh, I don't do that. I don't do those things. And you can just say sorry to your coach if you just said, oh, I don't do those things. Or maybe you guys are in a Facebook group, you're like, I don't do Facebook, or I don't do those things. I don't do whatever. I don't read, whatever the case may be. I had to retrain my brain to be like, well, what can I start adopting? What can I change? To change the mindset of how I wanted to go. And that was huge for me. Honestly, I lost 30 pounds with this program, but what I really gained was an entirely new mindset. And I actually wasn't going to ask this, but drop me a 3 if you feel like, in the chat, if you feel like the greatest thing you actually gained wasn't related to the weight, but it was the mind that changed for you most. Huge. Huge. I can't even go into that because that's not tonight's topic, but it's probably been the biggest thing for me. So what I want to say with you guys as I kind of hit on that topic, as we go into some of the things tonight, because I'm going to ask you to journal this stuff or talk it out or write it out. And I'll even ask you to put in the chat, is to create something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done. Anyone just like having like a, that just like kind of blows me away. Like I do that all the time, because I can tell you, I still do that all the time. I'm still retraining my brain to think about how can I change? How can I do things? What am I willing to do to get what I want? So just want to think about that. Let that permeate for a second here. To create something we've never had, we must do something we've never done. Because I'm going to talk about some things that help you create a structure and a healthy life. But some of you might say, oh, I don't do that. Or, oh, that's not possible. But what if we asked ourselves like, well, if I truly want what I want, if I'm really visualizing the future, and that was the greatest gift that Dr. A gave me, was what is it that you want to create? And then focus on getting that. Sometimes we just stay in this just closed in, like, oh, this is just what I do. And we don't think about, well, we can change anything if we truly want to. So hopefully that's a gift for you tonight, because that was a retraining for me. And I hear a lot of people that just kind of are permeated. Anyone ever meet anyone like that where they just are stuck in their ways and they don't want to change? I mean, change is not easy, but that's why it's called the habits of health. So anyways, I'm going to get into tonight. Let me share my screen real quick here. Hold on, I got to find my share screen piece here. All right, I think we're good to go. All right, let's jump into it tonight. I'm actually on the wrong slide, so hang with me real quick. I go back a couple of slides and giving you guys a preview. All right, we are jumping into element 7, and that's creating a leptogenic world. Someone said could I repeat, and I can't remember what it is I said. So if you guys remember what Janice wants me to repeat, go ahead and drop it in the chat for me. So I'm going to be talking about creating a leptogenic world. And what exactly is that? Do I want to create a leptogenic world? That sounds fancy. You can create it, and it actually gets to be your story because you get to create it. So what I want to encourage you here, let me see here. I'm actually going to grab my notes real quick here. Let's jump in tonight. So what that means is creating a micro environment of health, a world that creates that's helpful in weight loss and also thinness. It also helps you support a healthy lifestyle. Who here loves systems or loves things on repeat because you don't have to think about it? This is what you get to do in your life. You get to be the author of it. Yes, some of us sometimes we have places that we need to be and we can't control every aspect, but we get to control the underlying structure. And what I want to share with you guys tonight is maybe sometimes you guys haven't thought about this. I know I didn't. That's how I got to be able, after high school, I gained 30 pounds in two years. I got married pretty early too. That first half year of marriage, really packed it on pretty quickly. My wife's a good cook. But we also learned to change that because we said, what do we want to change? But one thing that was really huge for us was, what do we want to have our life look like? And so what we're going to talk about tonight is what creates that lifestyle. I'm just going to actually move over to my next slide here real quick. And what we're going to talk about. So what we're going to talk about tonight is focusing on making simple change, powerful changes to your surroundings to make it easier to help for healthy choices. Connect time and place. I want you guys to think about that. Time and place where you are in your days and the food choices to optimize your health. Explore and implement strategies to adjust your surroundings to create your leptogenic world and to feel amazing while you're making these changes. Who likes to make, but changes aren't easy. Who likes it when things are easy? I do. I like systems. I like support. And one thing I want to share with you guys tonight as I go through this, because I'm someone that likes to buck systems personally. I like to be like, well, I want to do it differently. Or I don't really like to be controlled generally, but everything you want in your life is on the other side of structure. And the people that are the best at what they do, they have a great structure that supports them. Do you think they just wake up and are awesome all the time? No, they have things that make it easy. And that's what we're going to talk about doing in the awareness, because what you are either being shaped by your life or you are shaping your life to shape you. And that's what you get to choose. And maybe you don't get to like say everything about your day. You know, I'm a parent. I don't really get to like decide if my son likes to wake up in the middle of the night or this, that, and the other. But we can start creating little things around these things that we are due each and every day. We can also stop taking part in things that are optional when we can say in the past, like, oh, that's what I've always done. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. I'm actually going to bring my video over here because I can't see how I'm talking to you guys tonight. But these are really great topics to explore as we do this. So let's jump into this one real quick here. And I'm going to ask the chat on this one. Willpower. It's a huge one. We all talk about it. Like, think about it. You probably mentioned willpower or subconsciously thought about it in your life. And what I want to share with you is willpower is not something you have or don't have, but it's a resource that becomes depleted. And like a battery, it can be recharged. So I want to ask you guys in the chat here. So someone in the chat say, I hate structure. Hey, I was with you too until I learned it got me everything that I wanted. So everything you want is on the other side of structure. Embrace it and come over to it, or call it something else if it does something for you on that. Some people are like, ew, structure. You know what? Call it whatever. Call it getting to write your own life and be the CEO of your life. Whatever you call it. That's what I call it. Anyways, what I want to share with you guys, and what you guys are talking about, or what we're talking about here, is ask yourself if you ever thought, I think we're up to chat, or to number 4 in the chat. Drop me a 4 in the chat if you've ever just said or thought, I need to have willpower, or you geared up to do something, or you geared up to do a diet. Okay, so we're not alone here. I love this call because we all are really more alike than we are not alike. And together we can make changes one step at a time. So here's the thing about willpower. It depletes over time. You can recharge it, but it's habit and structure that really can carry you long term. What carries you on a bad day? The environment you create around your life, a leptogenic world. Dr. A, you are a genius. Thank you for encouraging me to live a leptogenic world, because once you start setting things up to make it easier for you, you get obsessed with making things easier on yourself. What if I told you didn't have to be amazing every day, that you could just let the structure of what you do? I'm gonna talk about this a little bit in a second here, but we have a rule in our house. We don't bring sweets into our house. Do you know why? Because I will eat them. Yes, I've lost 30 pounds, but you know what? It's not because I have great control. It's because I focus on controlling my environment to the degree that I have. So little things like that. We're going to ask you to journal some of that at the end here. So let's jump into that slide. Consider your current day. And actually, I'm going to take a little second here to kind of ask you guys to think about the flow of your day. How much sleep are you getting? What time do you generally wake up? Do you have breakfast in the morning as you do this? What's your habit on that? Many of you are on 5 and 1, one of our weight loss plans. So it's pretty easy for you. But what do you do in the morning? How is your routine? What do you get up and do? Do you get up early to set a course for your day, or do you wake up late and rush into it unprepared? What does your commute look like? Do you drive by unhealthy places? Do you leave with a fueling or coffee so you aren't tempted to stop by someplace along the way? All the different things. You can kind of look in the afternoon. Where do you spend your time? Do you go to work? Do you work from home? Are you a full-time parent, the most important job in the world? Where do you go with your day regularly? Because if you step back and think about it, you'll start to see what's starting to shape your life. What do you do in the evening? How do you wind down? Do you watch TV? Do you spend hours in front of the computer? What's your family routine for dinner? Do you guys go out eat a lot? I can't speak tonight. Do you guys go out and eat a lot? Whatever the case may be. How do you wind down in the evening? Have you guys ever thought about having a bedtime routine? Yes, it's not just for kids. I know it sounds dorky, but it's amazing when you start getting good sleep. Then how is your sleep? Like, what time do you go to sleep? Do you give yourself a bedtime? I was actually talking to someone today that is a client of mine. He's lost 60 pounds. And he was talking to me about, like, man, I used to stay up late, but now I get excited to go to bed early. I don't know when I got old. I think it was around the age of 30. But I get so excited because I want to get a good night's sleep. Because once I figured out how important sleep was, I decided to change my life around that. And I wake up early. For me, I actually go to bed early because I want to be up and work out and have a plan for the day before I even see my kids that wake up. And then I'm there for them when they wake up. Whatever your routine is, hopefully you're thinking about this a little bit. But because your day's either happening to you or you're happening to your day. So just a cool thought to think about, because some of you guys, I'm not going to ask the chat on this one because I want to make sure we get done on time here, are probably thinking, like, think about a time when you maybe, like, life caught up with you and you got derailed from your health goals. Anyone here? 10 years, I can tell you it's happened maybe once or twice to me, or maybe like a dozen times, maybe a dozen times. But the point is the better structure you have and the more you think about your day, you get to create your life. And is it supporting where you want to be, not just in your health, but everything in your life? Like when we had kids, we decided that dinner on the table and having dinner together was a huge part of that. And I actually love that Dr. Ray's like Habits of Healthy. They talk about that and the correlation to how that helps them show up eventually in the real world as adults. I had no idea that a simple habit I made was affecting generations to come. So just cool things to think about. I don't know if you guys are mind blown by this, but it was pretty mind blowing for me when I started. So let's talk a little bit about the different places you guys can do environment. And if you want to do more on this, you can go dive in to element 7. There's some great topics in here and some great journaling exercises. But your food environment, you get to design your home, your pantry. What's in your pantry? Is it organized? Is the healthy options out there in front of you? For me, like I was talking about with the pantry and refrigerator, do you bring healthy options into your house and do you keep unhealthy options away? Talking about changing a life and, making a decision, things don't always have to be they've always been. So many of you guys will probably be like, well, my spouse always does this, or I've always done this. But let me ask you, what do you truly want? Do you want that to be your future going forward? You can just start chipping away at this. You don't have to be perfect at it today, but one step at a time, and there's going to be an exercise at the end here, you can start to change these things that you notice cause you trip ups in your journey. And what I can tell you though is so many people, this is going to be another topic real quick here, but it does correlate to this. How many times have you beat yourself up over a failure that, and I don't even want to call it a failure, I'm going to call it a learning experience, because we're never failing, we're only learning. It's only failing if you choose not to do anything about it and give up. You never give up if you don't stop trying or you don't keep moving forward. But what are the things that show up for you regularly that kind of trip you up sometimes? Those are hints to you that those are things that need to change in your environment and around you. Because one thing that I love that I've learned through this, like talking about the healthy mind, it applies to every area of my life, is when I have things that are regular trip ups for me, I don't get frustrated with myself. I say, how can I start changing the underlying structure of this to the best of my ability? Sometimes you don't have control of all of it, but you can control the things around that to help support that. Like you might not be able to control what time you show up to work, but you can control the environment that you have, what's in your car on the way, what time you leave, what time you get up, whatever, all that stuff. Someone mentioned here that their trip up is their spouse. Let me share something with you, because at different times, my wife has been on different levels of her focus on her health. It was my choice to let it affect me or not. And I had to actually learn, because that was a trip up, especially when your wife's pregnant. That's not exactly the same thing. I had plenty of sympathy for my wife, but I'm very happy to say because of this program, I didn't gain any sympathy weight. But one thing I got to say on that is, yes, she was craving pregnancy things, and they kind of entered our house sometimes, but it was my choice how I got that to affect me. I got to journal every morning to stay more on track. I got to say these things. We get to be in control of our own life and everything. And if it doesn't go perfect, then you get a chance to redirect that. So let's look at these areas. Your pantry, what's in it? Your refrigerator, how is it set up? We actually designed an actual day that we like to restock our fridge, and we have a whiteboard in our fridge where we make the list of meals for the week. And there's healthy snacks options around. I don't know about you guys, but like literally Optavia, like it's on repeat, comes into our house every month. I don't have to go shopping for that. I love shopping, and amen to the fact that they now deliver groceries. That is amazing. But like, what is in this, and what have you made an agreement on to set up your life? Prep and storage. Oh my gosh. Like I never was a water bottle person, and now I have water bottles all over the place. I have easy go setup so that things that evolve around our health and routine are easier. So just things to do, but you can dive in more to the habits that are the LifeBook to explore that. Let's talk about other design thoughts between our day and everything. That was the thing I was going to say there a second ago. Speaking of family that changed, we used to have the most unhealthiest gatherings, and we used to always get together. We have a large family, so the family gathering like every month. And watching them decide that we wanted to change how it was, we got to change what comes into it. And now we actually fight who like gets to take home whatever like cake or whatever showed up that time. And most of the time we just end up throwing it in the garbage. It was actually just my birthday. We had like 5 birthdays, and we just threw the cake in the garbage at the end. There was a lot left over. Things can change over time. Let's talk about a few things as we wrap up here real quick. Car. What's your environment in your car? We talked about the driving routine, things like that. Restaurants. Are there some in your area that you need to like just make a decision to not go through anymore? Do you need to make sure you have fuelings in your car or water or anything that helps you stay focused? Do you listen to podcasts in your car? This is a great podcast to listen to that help you stay on track. And do you prepare things ahead of time so you don't have to hit the drive-through on the way or on the way back from work or wherever it is you're commuting to? Bedroom. This is a huge one. I'm just going to wrap that one up real quick. It's probably the biggest one. I would say I learned a lot of things through this program, but probably the biggest aha I ever got was that I needed sleep. I actually grew up and then I went into the military, and I actually thought, because they just like, they don't let you really have much sleep, I thought sleep was what you got when you die. And little did I know how much it affects your hunger level. Did you know there's a direct correlation to how well and how much you sleep, the quality and quantity that affects your cravings? So this is just awareness to me. So I got to be able to fix this and create support around this when sleep really wasn't a thing, when we started having young kids. But also the bedroom environment. Dr. Ray talks about throwing out your TV. Is it a restful environment? Is it a peaceful environment? Does it promote the stuff? Because sleep's another topic, but sleep is the glue that holds us all together. So some of you guys tonight might be like, whoa, I got to get a bedtime. I got to get a wind down routine. I got to get this thing set up. Either way, we're going to talk about a few habits here as we wrap up. So we got 5 minutes left. I'm going to turn it over to my dad. He's the master. He just did Element 5 on creating surroundings. So I feel like he can speak on this topic, but don't tell him I said this, but he's a pretty amazing man. And he's taught me a lot of things in my life that have helped me. And he's also was the first person to see that this could be a change for our family. So not only do we have a different family setup dynamic and I watched their change, but he also helped change the fact of a generation. We had a generation of obese people in our family, very big on health, all the things. And he decided to change that. And I got to really tell you that I'm really excited to say that our generation of kiddos are the first ones that aren't going to know that lifestyle because we changed that. So I want to turn it over to him. He's going to share a couple thoughts with you because he is such a genius man. All that advice that I shared here today mostly came from him. But some things that you can start to make an adjustment to tonight, or recognize that you've already made an adjustment to and can build on. So Dad, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Wow, Brad, outstanding job. When the student becomes the master, this is what happens. And, I just really enjoy listening to that, with all those things you talked about, because it's so critical as we move forward. But I want to talk about this little slide here, and it's about adjustments. And this is a question you asked yourself. And it's a list of your surroundings and what will make an immediate difference in your life. And I coined a phrase a long time ago: your health is like the laundry. It's never done. And there's no finish line to it. So one of the things I do every year is I pick some things to focus in on my health, to make change, to create a new habit. And so basically, I just want to share with you guys that this is something that could be a macro habit. Some of you are on your health journeys and you're picking off, health, weight loss and nutrition as one of those things you're working on your surroundings. Some might be working on the stress. You're a little more advanced. Just taking in an extra glass of water a day might be your goal for the adjustment to your surroundings. And so this one's a pretty amazing slide, because it really does help you focus on. And there's one of the things that I do, and I think this might help you guys understand how to do this. As you move through the process and you're getting to a healthy weight and you're adding in exercise and some of the macro pieces of health, and you're getting your nutrition under control, one of the things I like to do is I like to go to this book here. And I start going through the chapters, and I like to pick out 1, 2, maybe 3 things that I want to focus on for the year to create new habits for myself. And I challenge you guys to do this for yourselves, because one of the things that keeps you moving, always have a goal set in mind. And this is one of the ways you can reset your goals. And one of the things, and I'll use stress as an example. So stress is something we all kind of deal with, but how can we make that better within our environment? And so we always think about stop, challenge, and choose. What are things that cause and activate stress? Being aware in your environment, what's going on, and really challenging this. And so as we're moving through those processes, I like to, for my clients, one of the challenges I give them, because once you get on program, you start getting dialed into that, I send them to habitsofhealth.com. And there's a health assessment on the habitsofhealth.com. And really, it kind of breaks it down into several different areas, how you're doing in your health, and you get a score. And it'll tell you if you're unhealthy to ultra healthy, and wherever you are on that, you can see areas of your life where you could make some improvements. So you go to the chapter in your Habits of Health and read through that chapter, and then you can add those to your list of things you're going to focus and work on. because what we focus on, we hit. Those are the goals we want to hit. So just want to encourage you guys to always be thinking about what's next. What's next? I'm getting this habit. It's becoming a habit. It takes at least 3 months or so to create a habit and solidify it. So maybe every quarter, pick another 3 habits you want to focus in on. And I guarantee you, in a few short months or years, you're going to be a lot healthier and happier at the end of those 3 months. Brad? Okay, he's done. So anyway,
There it is.
We're gonna.
I'm back now. Sorry about that. See, I couldn't control my cursor, but I was able to figure it out. I also had great support. Thank you, Chris, in the background. All right, guys, we're at the top of the hour. I just want to encourage you guys as you wrap up here, write down some notes. Become a journaler. Become a changed thinker. Think about 3 adjustments that you've made to your surroundings to make an immediate difference in your health. If you're new, what are 3 things you're going to start doing that are going to make a difference? And together, we can make a life change that will support our health long-term and make a leptogenic environment of health. I want to thank everyone that tuned in tonight, everyone that was in the chat. I want to remind people that there is you can watch these back on the YouTube channel, all these pieces here. But join us next week. We're going to cover element 8, learning to eat every 3 hours. Thank you all that shared so many great things in the chat. I feel like there was more gold in the chat than I got to speak to you over tonight. And invite you all to join us to hear my great friend Patty Glick talk a little bit about the rewards of what is another piece that can help your leptogenic environment, and talking about what it looks like to pay it forward, because someone shared this with you. Is it possibly something that you're looking at that can help you change that? So with that being said, go create your leptogenic world, accomplish that, and let's have a great evening. Let's go get the world healthy.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.